Howdy folks, this is Wandering Mind 25. What you're looking at is past and present apple cider, hard apple cider in the production. What we have here is, this right here is a 3-gallon carboy, and this would be the carboy which I was working on the other day. I did a video on just showing you when I added a previous batch that was fermenting on its own to a new batch, which was fresh and hadn't fermented or anything, or shouldn't ferment. As you can see, I'm just about to get a bubble. This would be day 2 of this batch fermenting, and I'm getting a bubble, I think somewhere around 2 to 3 minutes apart, maybe a little bit longer. I haven't actually timed it myself, but so we are getting some fermentation. We're not getting any heavy bubbles, just a little bit of foam, and so I mean there's some bubbling, but not enough to actually see up the edge. Usually, when it starts to get into a heavy ferment, you see bubbles rising up the wall, and you're seeing bubbles. Actually, almost looks like a boil almost. But hopefully it never actually gets to that point. I just want this to be actively fermenting. My understanding is for cider to taste good, at least my own experience, it has to be slow. It can't be, you want it to be in the almost, I don't know, my house is probably in the 60s right now. It'd probably be a lot better if it was in the 50s or 40s, but then that would take forever. Yeah, this is the carboy from the other day, and so we are getting an active fermentation. This is day 2. What I want to show you here, this 5-gallon carboy is from last year. This was my second batch, and this batch right here I let it ferment out and just let it go, and it's been aging for an entire year. And as you can see, everything is settled out of it, so it's practically clear. I remember you can add some kind of a coagulant remover, something that clears it, but it looks like if you just age it, it does it on its own. Another thing, one thing I did learn is with apple cider, it has this coagulant that you can see on the bottom that's settled. When it's actually fermenting like this one, all those bubbles right there, they are pretty strong. They hold together pretty well. So when this gets to an active, I'm going to call it a boil, those bubbles will retain their strength and it will actually rise up. And this time I've actually, hopefully compensated enough, and I've lowered the liquid level so that when it does boil up, it won't do what it did with this guy or my first batch. As you can see, I have some dried stuff right here. This actually would boil up, and the bubbles would go all the way up to the very top and eventually blow off my it wouldn't actually blow off this, but it would work its way up into the tube, and I end up having to clean that out and all that, so breaking the seal. Now this was during fermentation, so hopefully no air actually managed to get back down into it and spoil it. But yeah, that's a year of fermenting right there, and eventually just letting it age and just letting it sit still. My plan is to get some cider and sweeten it back up, and I think there's something I have to do so that I make it so that it doesn't start to do a secondary ferment inside the bottle. So I'm going to be bottling it in, which would be these guys. So once I rebottle that, resweeten it, and kill off any present yeast, I'll see how that is. But yeah, that's past and present. I'm really looking forward to see what this guy tastes like. Yeah, being it's essentially a new strain, new yeast strain. So I'll end the video off with a bubble, which should be any moment now. There we go. Alright. Talk to you later.